continue this fear series for spooky season with the Ajna fear gates and the mental fears that get us caught up here.
Yeah, so the ajna contains the ones that are closest in a way. I mean, the spleens are technically the closest at all times because they're the longest standing fears, but we don't necessarily interface with them the same way we do with ajna. Ajna, we roll it around, we think about it, we give it names, right? Until we recognize what those fears are for, because it's in the ajna. So we're afraid of all the things and the oppressive stuff that pours through and the lack of ability to put it all together. So we just fear the chaos of it all, of the mental torture. And so we're going to go through those fear gates so you can recognize, oh, wait a second, these are my intelligences. This is where I'm open to the intelligence of the fear that just taught me something. And we're going to give you a special trick to treat all your fears first as a spleen fear. We're going to teach everyone to pass them through, even the mind ones, because mind holds on to it over all of time, right? That's the frequency. But we're going to teach you to pass it through.
I'm super excited. Even new information for me. I'm pretty stoked about this. We learned a lot last week with those splenic fears, those survival fears, those like real life and death kind of things. So it'll be neat going through these ajna fears because, like you said, it's like almost like they can consume you more. It's like if you're not in a shark infested water and there's not a tiger outside, most of us I think lead pretty safe lives, or you can go home and feel pretty safe, I hope. But the mental ones, like they can really drive you cuckoo.
I'm not good enough at work. I got this thing going on. She didn't respond. Da 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 da. Gatling gun.
I'm excited to get into that. Before we do, thank you to everyone who is liking, subscribing, hanging out with us. We love having you. Thanks for being here, and let's dive into it. Awareness centers, we can see here you have the spleen, you have the ajna, and you have the solar plexus. So awareness centers are potential areas of consciousness and self-awareness. And when this energy reaches the throat, it becomes an expression of conscious intelligence. So these three awareness centers, you have the spleen, which is those ancient survival, life and death kind of fears. Then the ajna, this is about mental intelligence and cognitive awareness. And then the solar plexus is emotional and spirit intelligence, as well as relational and social awareness. So these different awareness centers, they focus and interpret life experiences as mind, body, or spirit awareness.
We have a spirit awareness. Just anybody who's wondering what that is and you don't have a scientific name for it yet, just get over it. Everybody knows the spirit is half full, the spirit is empty, the spirit is overflowing, the spirit is high, spirit is low. What a spirited conversation. It's there, right? It's everywhere. So just accept that. That's our emotional stuff. And then the splenic stuff that's on the right, and then the splenic stuff on the left down below. This is the stuff that's just immediate, moment to moment to moment. You smell something, oh, it's burning. That's moment to moment. It's like, oh shoot, soup's,
I left the gaff on.
it's something, whatever. Oh,
Yeah.
the car's still running. Run out and do that because it's
Oh no, creepy
ears,
guy across the street, run.
right? Ears, nose, taste, sense, the sound that can come into the body of any type of vibration. When I say sound, it's any vibration that comes into the body. We just call that sound. And then you get the ajna, the toy box. We're always calling it the toy box. This is the home of literally where we are not self and the true expression of our true self. And these two things are at odds inside one awareness center. Now, the awareness centers are here to drive consciousness, to push it forward, to make us ever more aware of our own place in this flow, and to finally answer the question of the head center pressure, which is to translate the reason for our existence. I mean, we're always trying to translate our existence, and the more we get together, the more we get there, and the ajna holds all of these details, right? It holds all of these possible conceptual expressions, because the ajna's whole job is to, over all of time, I have memory. I mean, it's right there. It's right below the head center. So it's in total communion with the deep gray area. It conceptualizes and draws from the rest of the brain, everything. Memories back to when you were, 4 and 3, potentially. It doesn't matter. It grabs a hold of it and it creates a fear out of it. That's its very first mechanical action. It's, as a chemistry, the brain is literally turning it into a concern. Take fear and swap it out for the word concern.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot
Yeah,
of sense.
most of them aren't like, because fear, people think fear of, dying. So they fear is,
Danger.
yeah, danger, stranger danger, right? And so it can be that totally, and it is plenty of times, but it's just this concern, this gnawing concern, and we're supposed to let it flow through is the thing. And so we're supposed to see so much comes in and then we let it flow through. But when we don't, our awareness is blunted because we're spent our time inside that fear. That fear is not actually something we're supposed to spend our time inside of, except for once in a while. Once in a while, it's and your whole body will tell you that, and you'll get right into the now because it's really real. We really got to do something here, that type of thing. Over all of time, we're supposed to take this conceptualizing that we do and measure this and measure that and contain language and have all kinds of sound and noise and racket that turns into concepts we speak right out of our throat, and that becomes our outer authority. What Moni says to the world comes out of this center, because this center does all the metamorphosis of translating that stuff into language. You can see it right on the 3 gates at the top of the throat. Now, they're not numbered on this chart, but it doesn't matter. Right up there, those 3 gates, 62, 23, and 56, from left to right, their sole job is to metamorphosize the noise from upstairs into language through details and stimulating idea in this, and then sudden expression, 23, to split apart and pull back together. They give us our intelligence. All these centers work together. The rest of the animal kingdom doesn't quite have it this way. And so this particular one, these fears, they lead to mental anxiety. They take us away from our nature. When we're seeing them for what they are, they lead us to an outer expression that is truly ourselves, that we stop regretting the stuff we say or didn't say, and it's really just that simple in a lot of ways.
Starting off, we're going to deep dive to explain the Ajna as an awareness center. The Ajna fears, these concerns of the Ajna, this can show up as anxiety and mental fears. Maya fears, Maya being that which we are in this program. So fears about the Maya and fears of illusion, that your mind's just going to make stuff up to explain a story. And this is a place where fears can be created, where no fear is necessary.
It's just we invent it. Monsters. Monsters live here. They don't
I
live in
know.
the spleen. Spleen's like, monster what? Monster schmonster. I don't smell it, taste it, touch it, feel it, hear it.
And spleen is run, go
Yeah,
survive. Look, you did it. You survived. It's survival fears, which once you're safe, it's cool. The mind can make you go cuckoo.
literally. This anxiety over things, it's mental nervousness. All of these are sort of a nervousness. And this one is mental anxiety and nervousness over things that are concepts, that are illustrations you've made in your mind. You invented them. Doesn't mean that they're not real, because the invention of them is sometimes because there's something really here.
There's a source to it, but it gets convoluted.
It gets convoluted and goes. What it's supposed to be is the water is boiling over, the pot is too small, the lid is way over there, and I'm supposed to be like, oh, shoot, this is going to be a mess and not good. And that's it. It leaves. That's how the spleen does it. All of our fears we're supposed to treat as spleen fear in that mechanical way, so that we can see if we can just let it pass through. That's the trick to all of this. And you watch yourself. Oh God, I wasn't able to let a single one pass through today. Good, you're watching. Thank you. Tomorrow will be different. Because sooner or later, what happens is you start because you realize they didn't matter. This is pressurized. This is an awareness center with one pressure center dedicated solely to it, the head center. The head center says, hey, you're under pressure to translate existence. Come up with some measurements. Translate existence pressure doesn't go straight to have an emotional wave about it and tell me how you feel. It doesn't go straight to the spleen. What'd you notice about this? What'd you notice about that? No, right in the moment, it goes to the thing that holds on to memory over all of time to say, keep measuring, kid. Keep measuring, kid. You're under pressure. Measure, conceptualize, come up with, talk about it, share it, empower the others, support us, get into it, empower yourself with it, right in the now, all of it. And this mental anxiety in the Maya says, I'm afraid of all of it. Maya is just another word for totality in a way. Totality mostly weighted towards where all the people are, like us, because that's where we are. Where the people are and everything there, all the buildings, everything is the Maya. It's this theater we go to theater in, where we're also actors in it. And we're also the audience. We're both. It's the whole thing is the Maya, the stage, and then us in it. And then we start to realize these fears, they do become an illusion. It's not necessary. Please start to recognize if you let even one fear just come in and go out, I promise you within anywhere from 10 minutes to by the next day at the most, if you write it down, you'll find out it didn't matter. You'll find out it didn't matter. That's the experiment to teach yourself it didn't matter. Now, if you do it, you'll start seeing it. And if everyone knows, I always say it, seeing it kills it. Seeing it fixes it, aligns things. It kills the conditioning. It kills the capacity for conditioning to run our lives fully. It blunts it. It slows it down until finally it starts to truly shrivel up. Moni, you can attest to that. Yet it's still there. It's still gnawing at us. It's just that we put it where it needs to go quickly. Allow the fear to run through, recognize how quickly it didn't matter. And that's for all of them, because their fears are natural. We need them. If you're afraid of being rejected, suddenly, you know what I mean? You might retool the concept and sharpen it. Every fear here is to sharpen a concept into something logical, abstractly applicable, individually knowable in the now as some breakthrough. It's all there to advance that. These fears advance all of that as long as you let them pass through. Otherwise, what they advance is mayhem, and the toy box turns into the crappy, muddy, been rained on too long, rotten wood, rusty, nailed toys don't work box, right?
Trying to identify fears as they arise as messengers that are just coming through. It's just here to
Mm,
tell you a little message and then like continue on its way. But if we get stuck on it, it's like that wave, right? It's like, like a heartbeat, or if you're watching like a
yep.
wave go through, it's like that wave just needs to make itself through to be like, hey, maybe be aware of this thing. And then you're like, cool, now I'm aware of this thing. As opposed to, okay, be aware of this thing. You're like, oh my God, this is a thing, this is a thing. I'm freaking out, I'm freaking out, I'm freaking out.
When you're doing that, think about it. You're still aware of it, but all your awareness is now concerned with a fear that you're not. It's all concerned with the what the not self does with things, the old seven-centered, conditioned, programmed way, which
Hmm.
is the not self. And and that's now running the show as soon as you're doing it that second way you were just saying. Then when you do it the first way that you had said, you're exactly right. You're like, oh, do I even need? And then suddenly awareness can work for you. Same awareness. And the one that works for you is the one that says, God, I guess I can let it go. Let's find out. What's the worst that's going to happen? And then you get on this magical mystery mind tour of recognizing that, oh my God, most of this stuff doesn't, oh my God, I'm not very good at it yet. Oh my God, sometimes when I am good at it, it certainly feels a lot better. Why am I not better at letting it go? Oh my God, I'm talking to myself and I see why. I'm going through things that are me. It's like you got to ask yourself who's noticing. That's the real you. Witnessing there's a fake veneer fiat currency version of you. There's a colorable color of law version of you that says this is what I'm not, but you don't quite know it because you're so used to it. Let the fear go through, and you will see that 99% of them were not for you, and they set you free, and you set yourself free.
The idea of like the Ajna as this toy box, and it's basically a simulation factory. Whatever you put into your brain can like simulate a story and be like, oh, okay, cool, and da 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 da. And that could be really great stuff or it could be really horrible stuff. Like we can go in all directions. Like the mental capacity is endless. And so what I've noticed about myself that I've really been trying to be extra careful of, especially is like as a projector and super energy and sensitive, empathic and all such things, I will often pick up data about something. And as you said, as a source, there is something maybe off or creepy or not okay about the energy or a person or whatever situation I'm in. But I need to be more careful to just recognize it as that because my ajna, my undefined ajna with that gate 24, just going over stuff and going over it, can turn it into it's almost like it's trying to understand the fears and energy and distorted energy that I pull in. And it's like, oh, you're feeling this weird energy. Well, why? And then it comes up with this crazy cuckoo banana story. And then it'll just take over. Okay, that was completely insane, but it had a source point of a truth. There was a fear, there was something off, but recognizing that this, especially undefined head and ajna that can just spin its wheels in whatever craziness, to recognize that it's perceiving something that might have whatever level of validity, but once it runs through the ajna as a means of trying to make sense of this weird distortion you're feeling, and it can come up with a crazy story that's going to filter into your experiences and then completely go into insanity land.
Yes, hence mental anxiety, mental nervousness. This center is the home of having to take all kinds of various things,
Mm.
to quell your anxiety. I don't know the names of these things, but there's lots of commercials about them,
Yeah, that's a
right?
great way to phrase it. That's a
Yeah,
perfect way to phrase
yeah.
it.
And so, but the thing is, and then all the names that get come up with regarding it, all these names are a mixture of things we're about to tell you about these fears. When I say all of them, I don't know if it's all of them, but I'm just saying so much of it you'll see is a mixture of, oh, when you add these up, well, you get this thing, you get that thing, and you realize, no, that's me hanging on to the fear. I'm supposed to let it go through, just like a meditation.
We're going to start off with collective abstract fears of the ajna. The collective abstract is about the life process being rewarding and valuable. Starting off with gate 47, which is a fear of futility, or that life is pointless, like your experiences are pointless. Gate 47 is about trying to make sense of things, and it has a burden of translating the past. The key is finding hope and value in the little things.
Yeah, and burden is what it feels like as it is oppressing you. The I Ching's original language for this gate was oppression, because what comes in from above it in gate 64 to give it its pressure, its natural pressure that will keep it on at all times, it's called confusion before completion. So it's confusion before you ever get anything done. At the end of the day, it's receiving heavy duty confusion pressure. And if it can't make sense of it, it's here to make sense of an abstract process. It ties in deeply with the emotional abstract process down below. Be aware of that, just like on the other side does the same on the spleen side. And it takes that abstract energy and it's making a story out of it sooner or later, and it's trying to come to its realization. This is the thing that toils and toils over the what if of this and the possibility of that, and the capacity, like a good editor, to put so many film clips together and start to make a conceptualized in living color story about what it all means. It's great if you want to learn human design. It just might take you an extra 4 or 5 years to actually get there because it's so confusing. And you've got to go through it, and the mind never stops. And it is oppressive until you realize I'm just floating in a sea of realizations. My mind is so amazing. If I have this gate, if it's in an open center, I can count that intermittently. I'm going to have these amazing realizations. If it's in a defined center, I'm going to be like working on those realizations, and they're going to be coming to me in various ways that almost make me sound like I'm damn sure. You know what I mean? Even though I'm not yet, I'm still working on it. And that realization is heavy duty. It's an epiphany moment because so many things came together. Very often you can't even explain it. You can't even tell a story about it until you get there. It feels like futility. And this futility is oppressive, and you're just never going to get anywhere. I'm never going to figure this out. I have too much mail. I can't answer it all. Everything. I'm too confused. I don't know. Let them foreclose. Let them you let them take it. Let whatever. So confusing you could actually give up things, and you have at times with this fear because you held on to it rather than, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's still just as confusing, but you still let the fear part go. And then you start to surrender to what you can't have in the first place. It helps you a great deal down below in the format channel as to what to start and what to complete. This is a huge help down there, by the way. The clarity up here lends so much to the format channel down there.
47 links up with gate 64, and that it's confusion before you complete something.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. It's
I don't know. It's like, and I've heard it 68, 64 is before completion and confusion. I've heard that a million times, but it hadn't
will
clicked
it
that.
complete? Yeah. It has so much to do with that emotional process down below. Gate 30 is ringing with, I am confused before we complete it. Will the fates get in the way? 36 is, I'm confused. I'm inexperienced. I'm but scared. 35 is like, hurry up and get here already. And I'll tell you if I don't like it. And 41 is just putting out pressure. But you see, they all go together.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that just like clicked in a different way of like 64 is confusion before completion, and it's sending out those images, those abstract images. The storytelling side is the abstract side, and then gate 47 is like, ah, it's too much. I don't know what to do with it. Ah, I'm
Right.
futile. And like, I
Yes.
just imagine like a film editor with like so much just piling on, or like what is it, the Harry Potter when he gets the Hogwarts letters and Dursley won't let him have his Hogwarts letters, and then more and more letters keep coming in until like
Yes.
the whole house is full of letters. That's what I imagine gate
Like when Bruce
47
Almighty had to open the filing cabinet, right, for all the
of everyone's
prayers.
prayers. Yeah,
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 like
yeah.
God, yeah. And no, that's exactly what it is. So you don't hang on to the fear, even though you still remember the information. That's a heavy duty trick. And that's what I told people as we go through each of these, you're going to realize. I said, you're going to get a trick in all of this. And I already sort of gave it to you. What you need to do this. It's very practical. And so, good luck with all of that. Let
We'll
yourself
repeat
tell
what the
yourself
trick
this
is.
story. Well, the trick was that you have to find out how quickly it becomes obvious that it didn't matter,
Mm.
that its level of importance might have been a 1, 2, or a 3 on a scale of 1 to 10. And getting milk for your wife is definitely 7 and 8. You know what I'm saying? Mundane things were far more important than whatever this futile effort thing was inside of you. It was just there to say, is it futile? I don't know. I guess I'm still going to be confused about it for a while longer until the epiphany aha moment of realization takes place. Realization puts together everything, thousands of things into one. And the reason it's confusion before completion, further, the reason of it is because right up to the moment of showtime, when you're about to say the thing, you're still working out those confusions. You're still main. Do I add a little more? This film clip, that film clip. How about I take this one out right before I say it? So right up to the moment of performance, meaning you're about to share it with somebody, you're still working that stuff out. You're working it out while you're sharing it with them. It never really stops. It's a refining process, just like on the other side. This is a little bit dirtier of a refining process because it gets messy. On the other side, it's more like a scalpel of a refining process, but these are refining processes. So refining pressure to translate our own existence. It's beautiful.
So gate 47, the stream of that energy goes from the left to the right side. So that's why I have the little arrow on the graphic here so you can see. So gate 11 has mental anxiety over darkness and emptiness, and the
Mm.
hope and desire for what could be, seeking the light, idealism, and utopia. The fear is that the past does not show the light, and the need is to create a sense of hope.
The wicked needs to do that because this creating of the sense of hope and the sense of a little bit of wonder and the sense of trying to make it interesting comes from all the stuff that the mental process right above it was feeding it. Oppressive confusion coming out in millions of bits of data that finally are getting wrangled into an aha moment. This can only hope. Oh my God, look at that beautiful idea that has coalesced. I hope I can get its light out onto the world. These two gates, 47 and 11, are, of course, and this is abstract collective. So we get the other side will still remain collective. And the collective keynote is sharing. And we've talked about that. That sharing isn't like an offer that you think about once in a while. It's got these gates. That sharing is profound. The need to share is profound. I think we can say that about all the collective gates, and they're inherently social, and they want to talk about it, and they got lots of stuff to say. This is a very talkative being if they have both of these gates, especially if it's in a defined center, or at least it has the potential to be. And gate 11, sphere of darkness, is the darkness of the idea never reaching the light. It's a spiritual fear in a way, the darkness that just doesn't reach the light, but in your own emotional sort of internal sphere, your internal light expression in towards yourself, the darkness is, I can't share it. And so it's technically remains in a closet, it remains in the drawer, with all the other utensils. It's one utensil amongst many, and that's not stimulating. This ultimate goal is to manifest through the act of stimulation, not that dissimilar from the manifesting through the act of desire and hunger. Both are stimulating. This one's verbal in nature. And do notice it crosses over the ajna. There's two mixing zones like this, and they're the two pressure centers. So it starts up where you think all the rest of the collective data would start off, a collective logical. However, it goes right across and it goes to gate 11 down the rest of the collective way. So it creates a mixing inside the ajna. It creates a vortex. So recognize that vortex, as it moves, the vortex is picture 47 to 11. then picture 17 to 4, then 43 to 24, then 11 to 47. Just picture this arrow moving around like that, constantly flipping back and forth. It creates a vortex in the center. It creates a mixing zone, literally, of where because energy is pouring through. So it's a mixing zone for conceptualizing. Were you going to say something?
Yeah. So when we talk about aura and like the human energy field, it's a toroid shape, basically a donut shape. And so that we have this donut shape, basically we're in the center of the donut, we're in the center of the inner tube, and the energy is going out and around, but it's like this double layer thing. So it makes sense that we have this like vortex up in the ajna and then this vortex down in the root center, because if you think about it with the donut shape around your body, like it makes sense with this toroid shape that is going
Oh,
around us that these vortexes are happening.
you're also describing the poles of magnetic Mother Earth.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
There you go. Yeah, of course.
totally,
It's
right?
as above, so below. Like it's all going
As
to
well,
interact
yes.
on
I'm
earth
sure
as
we'll
it
be
is
able
in
to
heaven.
liken this to our binary computer code sooner or later too. Anyway, that's what it is. Gate 11 sphere is I've got the stimulating idea. It's peaceful inside of me. The gate of peace, by the way, is another name for this gate, creating the channel of curiosity. And it's designed to just be curious, and it's designed to always be seeking. And as it seeks, when it finally gets to the throat and is able to talk, it's always saying, let me tell you a story. And it's always in a stimulating way. It's got some stimulating tone of voice as opposed to the other side, which is different. It's factual more so and sort of that way. My ideas, they are at peace because when the confusion, and the reason it's called peace is because by the time the confusion goes through the oppressiveness and the realizations start to pour through, the realizations are stuck in that person, like me, because I don't have a gate 11. I just have the channel of 6447. And so I don't have a gate 11 for that idea to really go out. Once it gets to this gate 11, the piece is it got settled up there, and I have new concept worth stimulating the other with. When it's upstairs, I've got concept worth stimulating the other with, but it's still going through its film clip cycle. So it's hard. When I explain something to someone, it's like, Dan, you're bouncing all over the place. But when 11 starts to explain it, it's more cohesive because the throat gate, which is still seeking, if as long as you surrender the fact that 11 is seeking, not always and searching, not always finding or getting, sometimes it does, and more often than not, it doesn't. It's just moving towards. That's the journey part. And then this gate captures it and says, you guys have already done the hard part. And now it's my job to do the conceptualizing that will speak to and be of value to and the right fuel for 56, which will metamorphosize that light imaging, that left eye abstract imagery that can coalesce into language and usually through storytelling. So tell me, Moni, what travels faster, storytelling and rumors or facts and textbooks?
Storytelling and rumors, or oral history,
Oral
oral
history.
oral stories, whatever you want to call it.
My kids were excited when I could read a story. That was really cool, but the story still had to get stimulating to them. It never worked if it wasn't stimulating. I couldn't just read it. Wah, 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 wah. We're designed to add all kinds of juice. And so much of that juice comes from the 47, all the work it did to, get through the oppression.
I was laughing when you were talking about it because you're like, you have the 6447 and you pop all over the place. And 11 like kind of puts it more into something. I'm like, oh, that's us because I have gate 11. And you kind of
Yeah,
pop around and I'm like, hang on, let me put this into something.
that happens,
Every
doesn't it? It really
All the
does.
time. All the
Yep.
time. And just overall, like I was like laughing the whole time you were speaking about Gate 11. I was like, oh my God, I feel this so hard because it is. It's like it's such an excitement over having an idea and I want to share the idea and I have all these cool ideas and they're constantly popping in my head. And there's almost this sense of like if I could just share this idea and if somebody could just
Hunger.
listen to me. Yeah, like if somebody could just listen to me, it could be really, really cool. Just like let me like hear me out. And I find because I have 11 without the 56, my 11 is yearning. It's like clawing at 56 as like 56 is that stimulation, that light. I think even part of its hexagram has like the fire trigram. I know my 11 yearns for it. If I could just be stimulating enough and interesting enough and make it fun and performative, then they'll pay attention and then they'll listen to my ideas. Like,
Moni, it's so gorgeous what you're demonstrating and what you're proving to everyone and yourself and to me. And what we're noticing is the fact that in communion, we transcend the gates we don't have. Because I don't have 56 neither. And there you are being stimulating and explaining. That's why our movement from spirit, the spirit awareness of trying to get to the direction of beauty, moving towards communion, That's why, because it then transcends the rest of the body graph in various versions. Every two people will be different, but it keeps transcending rather than getting stuck in. So I find that beautiful.
The little tip or hint is to process past futility, spot the value in small experiences, channel it into hopeful ideas that light the way forward.
Totally processing the past confusion that seemed futile. But by the way, it's not always futile. Sometimes it's fun and you're lost in the muse because you're getting close, and then that closeness starts to ring the bell of the ideas, and the ideas are at peace, is the thing, until they get an idea. And then they're either afraid that that idea won't go anywhere. And in the moment, that fear can literally it'll let itself go when it recognizes it wasn't the right timing. And that's the seeing it kills it part. The seeing it fixes everything and puts it in place. And so this movement guarantees there's a mixing up of concepts in the ajna, starting with 47 and the capacity to have realizations about concepts in the mind by putting this with that and this with that and juxtaposing the most creative, amazing things that don't normally go together. They go together here. They go together all throughout the ajna, but they definitely go together here.
Leah wrote, in communion, we transcend the gates we don't have, which was a Danny quote.
Oh my God, can I put that in quotes, please? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now we are diving into the individual circuitry of the ajna and these ajna fears. These are personal mental anxieties with individual circuitry. So starting off with gate 24, this is mental anxiety over ignorance. It's about trying to codify what's new, making it palatable. It can be a dreadful anxiety that the world will be ignorant of what we must tell them.
Yes, because if the world's ignorant, then nothing is going to work, and this gate can't empower anything. It's in the individual circuitry. So remember, it's life purpose. A big portion of it is to empower the other with something. So all the mental anxiety as it relates to figuring something out in this gate that we call the gate of rationalization, and the old I Ching language was the return, a very mystical sounding name. And what this is doing is it's taking our mental awareness to return to the scene of the crime and keep returning to the thing that we need to make personal sense of as it relates to coming to a new knowing about stuff that's coming in now. It's not the abstract, which takes all of the past and puts it together. And it's not to say 24 won't work on things that are of the past, but it's working in that one particular thing now and returning to it. If you have a gate 24, open center or defined, it doesn't matter. You're going to return. A concept will come by, and if it's somehow, especially if it bothers you, or if it's wicked exciting, one of the two things, if it lights you up in negative or positive, you're going to start returning to it. There's more negative than positive on this planet at this point in a lot of ways inside of the conditioned world. But yeah, return, come back, hit it again. It suddenly seems obsessive. And suddenly you can start asking your own self, is there something wrong with me? I can't turn it off. Once again, doc, I need or something, things can happen here that don't need to happen yet. We need to witness that this particular fear, this fear of ignorance, it just means it's true. You don't know right now. We're not responsible to know everything right now. It doesn't mean stop returning. It means stop being afraid that you return. The fear of ignorance is designed to make you return to it. The fear of futility takes all kinds of confusion. There's 100 and 1,000 and 200 and this many things, and this one is more focused on a thing, or it might be a batch of things or a group or a clique or a set, but it's still funneling into this thing that you're returning to. Why'd that guy say that? Why'd that guy say that? Why'd that guy say that? The other guy, hey Tina, do you know so and so? Why would he say such and such? Look, Facebook. What's he do? Maybe why did he say that? Why did he say that? Why did he say that? So it's sort of a thing, and then you're obsessive about it. Yeah, you got this gate.
I do. Everything you're saying, I'm like, it
Tell
is.
us about it,
It's
Moni.
like
Tell us
a
about the
hamster
24
wheel.
in an open center, people.
In an open center, yeah. Gate 24 in an open center, it can be maddening. It's just a hamster in a wheel that's not going anywhere, and you just want to go somewhere and you want to get to the thing. And if I could just untangle this thing, then I can get past it. But it's just hung up on something that is just gnawing at you. It can be super maddening.
And it stays there. What alleviates it finally? Can you say?
I like when gate 61 is lit up. I've noticed that. When
Okay.
gate 61 is lit up, it's like the thing comes through. and there's actually a connection as opposed to 24 is just looping in something, but it's just up there. It's not connected to anything in my chart, so it's just like dee 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 dee. Like, whereas like when
The
the six,
hamster wheel. That's a good one.
yeah, yeah, right. And then 61 is lit up. There can be like, oh my God, this like unique knowing that comes through. I've noticed that is good. Or it's like if I could just talk through the thing with somebody, which can be a big ask because I feel like I take in so much, and because I have this completely open throat, it can't make it out to the throat. So all this energy just kind of gets stuck until I'm like, please, can somebody just listen to me without taking it personally or getting like upset about something when I'm saying, like, it just
Right.
needs to come out.
Right.
So that can be a thing, or, maybe some peak experience that comes through with some knowing of like, oh, this is what I was supposed to learn from that. And you finally get to that point of like, this was just a lesson all along. And what did you learn along the way? And then there's like, well, that was a hard way to learn that stupid lesson. We couldn't make that a little bit easier. Um, that's what I
All
find.
the individual definition is running with the empowered feeling and sometimes dread of the world will be ignorant. We must empower them.
I need to
So
help them.
I need to something, and everyone needs to know, and for me too. If everyone else knows, I'm safe in my knowing now. And that's
Yeah,
a
I noticed a weird thing, and you should know this thing, and no one else is noticing it. There's a weird guy. Why does nobody else notice this weird guy? And then, but I look like the crazy one because no one notices the creep in the bushes. So I'm
right.
just like freaking out. I'm like, no, there's a thing. I promise you, there's a thing that I'm actually concerned about, even though I just look crazy.
Now, this thing does not want to tell a story. It does not want to tell a story. It wants to get out a complete mental knowing that has its beginning, its middle, and its end, as it relates to it's compact and it can impact the other, and it's all tied up in a bow.
It wants to
Too co-
untangle the knot. It wants to like demat it and like make it all
yeah,
clear
and
because
turn it back into a nice pretty bow. A nice pretty bow you'd see
yeah,
on top of a
something is
nice
like all
present.
tangled up, and it's like if
Yep.
I could just go through it, I could just go through it, and it's like you can't until finally you're like, no, I had to put the thing here and do this, and then it like loosens.
The two collective ones aren't that way.
Mm.
This one's trying to tap in and make one thing a nice, pretty bow. But again, back to one thing, or essentially one set of things. It's got oneness to it. The collective has allness to it
Oh, yeah, yeah,
at
yeah.
all times. The collective sees, and it's got right eye, left eye stuff. This individual stuff is straight up sound, and sound as a
Mm.
vibration that could be anything. Like the rumble of a truck will vibrate your body. The sound that is even thought is in a frequency that we call sound. We just call it sound so that you can understand sound means inside the mind and the body. Sound means all the frequencies from the lowest of the ultraviolet red and below that, actually even below that, the lowest bass sound on a piano, below even that, the movement of the earth on the low side, right? Mom, I can hear the rotation of the earth. Who is that? Lucy. You know, that I don't even know what that sounds like. Low, all the way up to electromagnetic stuff and frequencies that are much higher. We're taking it all into our body and we call it sound for the sake of calling it something. And that sound vibrational awareness in the mental process goes through 61 down to 23. 61, 24, 43, 23. And so it makes that straight line, and its uniqueness is designed to mutate. And its rationale of something is something that can't be there. You have to surrender to this ignorance because it's not coming on your time frame. When is it coming, Moni? It's not,
In a
it's coming.
pulse when it just comes through.
Yeah, independent of will. So the
Mm.
return goes crazy when it wills itself to know. And when it forgets about it and just lets the return come naturally, sooner or later, the pulse comes independent of your will. Now you know. This one has to surrender. And if you stay at it, you'll find you go gray too soon. You get this too soon, too soon, all these things that come too soon, because you stayed in this mentally anxious. I mean, look at the anxiety, ignorance. That's a pretty big one. Ignorance will kill you. Ignorance is no good. The world can't live in actual ignorance, and ignorance is huge. Nobody, what? I'm ignorant. I didn't know. Well, I want to know. I'm right. That's a
Why didn't
natural.
somebody tell me?
Why didn't somebody tell me? I don't want to be ignorant to this, dude. I can't let my ignorance get in the way. I don't want to make that decision. I'm ignorant. We do a lot of stuff for the sake of ignorance. So spotting it, meaning I keep returning, change the word return to I'm still ignorant. What am I worried about the other people for yet? I'm still ignorant until That's because that's what it is until the return has fleshed it out and new knowing comes through in what 43 gives as a sudden insight, which will, when we get to that, we'll see its fear. I'm afraid of ignorance. I'm afraid of the pressure that says the pressure to solve a mystery now, the gate of mystery above, creating the channel of the thinker. It's just thinking now. It doesn't mean turn off the thinking. It means reframe the dang fear. Recognize how much only a little nuance of these fears might matter tomorrow. You got to write one of them down. That's the trick. So you can see it didn't matter. It didn't matter again. Dang, it didn't matter again. Oh, that one mattered a little bit more. Okay, but I'm seeing a pattern. It mostly doesn't matter. And if I can say that about your fears, and you can all of a sudden start to internalize as I look closely at it, and most of it doesn't matter, I'm going to worry less. Oh, the fear came through. Don't it, sooner or later it turns into it might matter. I don't know. I'm playing cards with my friends right now, you know. So the return can just go away. I return, I come back, I return, I come back. I seem mentally obsessive. I have mental anxiety over looking mentally obsessive and wondering if something is wrong with me. I have mental anxiety over why do I keep returning? Am I the irrational? No. You're simply the ignorant until the pulse shows up. And by the way, you're doing all of that for the rest of us. So why don't you go ahead and get a little entitled and say, hey, I'm doing this for you guys. Don't rush me. And maybe you'll say that to yourself as well. Don't rush me, self. It's not up to me. It's independent of will when the pulse comes.
I couldn't help but think of Big Lebowski. He's like, I'll tell
Oh,
you what I'm blathering about. New information, new has come to life, man. Like, it's like I think of like this individual circuitry is like new shit has come to
new stuff to
life.
come to life, man. Yeah, totally. I love it. I gotta watch that again.
We
That
can
was
watch it
classic.
together anytime. We'll do a little watch
Yeah.
party. It'll be great. Gate 43, the fear of the rejection of insight. And this is when the individuality is personally rejected and the failure to successfully explain yourself and being shunned and exiled, or the fear of being shunned and exiled because you have some weird, unique knowing that's coming through and you can't get it out.
This is the energy and the life force that creates the keynote of this channel, structuring, because it structures the impossible into something now coming out, being assimilated through gate 23, the gate of assimilation. This is where we get the keynote of genius to freak in this channel. And everyone who's got this channel, or even a 43 only, they know that sense of sometimes I'm a genius and sometimes I'm a freak, because what can be put together here has a type of amorality to it, just like 34 does. And meaning it's not concerned yet with all the scruples to what is it that's being put together in the insight. It's getting to the insight. And that insight is what the I Ching called it. What we call it is breakthrough. And that breakthrough is so incredible that the same hunger you described for 11 to share, this breakthrough has to be spoken. And someone must listen that I may empower them. And it's hard when you can't get it out. I think you have a 23. I know I do.
I
A
have
43.
43. I don't have the
43.
23. So I have the
Yep.
unique knowing that comes in. And I'm like, oh my God, I know the secrets of the universe. And then
Right.
it's like, and
Same
I swear
here,
to God, it
Moni.
was so good. I was really good. I did, why can't I get it out? That's gate 43 hanging.
So both Moni and I have this gate. We both know what it feels like. I have a sudden breakthrough. I have a third and a fifth line. My third line is like, we'll break through despite any condemnation, any regress, any trespass by the other to make you stop. It doesn't matter. It's going to do it anyways. It's going to break through, even if it becomes the freak. In other words, still we transcend. We don't have 23 together.
But
Could
even
have
then,
fooled me.
yeah. Yeah, I know, right? We talk enough for it. Yeah, but even with the 4323, it's like that's where you really see that freak to genius thing. My boyfriend has this. And when it's right and people want to hear from him and he says something, it's like, oh my goodness, that's genius. Why didn't I think of it? And other times, if he just starts spouting something, it's just like, what are you even saying? It's like really
Right.
is that freak of like, I don't understand you. Why are you saying that? Shut up, go away, go hide.
It's so true. All of it is about making a concept. It took 24's return. Look at 24 like it's dripping in, sort of like 18 does to 48. It drips in this thing, it drips in that, it drips in the various things, but it still hasn't turned into the breakthrough. And then the aha moment. These are all about aha moments because they're mental. And our outer authority speaks. And so we can actually say out loud, aha, It's just, you wouldn't quite say aha with a spleen thing, and you're definitely not saying aha so much with an emotional thing that you're talking about deeply. You know, it doesn't stop at aha.
Yeah,
This
the
one's
light bulb, there's the reason you have the light bulb over the head in
over the
cartoons,
head
because it just
and not
pops
over
into
your
the
heart
head.
or right.
Yeah,
Totally. It's
you have
that
different
light bulb.
analogies there.
Yeah, and the light bulb's always going off, and this one's hunger to break through is ravenous. It wants to break through because at the end of it is a structure and a mutative new structure designed to help order society in an ordered framework that guarantees cooperative success. That's what this is trying to empower. It's trying to empower all of that in support of gate 7 to 31, in support of 8 and 1, and in support of 13 and 33, coming off of the top of the G center to the throat center, and it's trying to empower all of that. All of these are, but this one specifically is trying to put out the thing that brings the new knowing that makes it all work. And so in that assimilation of trying to get out here, its fear is it's too freaky. I'll be rejected. I'll be rejected. They're not going to like me. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this. I even think I sound like a freak, and heavy duty embarrassment can come through here, and then suddenly shame. You can try and get
Exactly.
out of the whole I'm just trying to get out of there. Try, it can cause you to just this
Go
fear of
hide in a
rejection.
hole.
Yes, 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 and or just or no, it shouldn't be rejected, but you're still afraid of it because you start seeing it happen. Or this is just a signal, just like 11. I should have said it before with 11, to recognize it's not the right timing for this breakthrough. This is all where we start to really get to the timing. The top three gates, we work on what's coming in. And here, where we're working on what's going out, it's concerned with the timing. If the other is not open and receptive and they're not listening, the timing is wrong and you will be a freak. And then suddenly the other's like, wait a second, what did you say? And maybe something comes back in a day or so or later in that conversation. And it dawns on them because they're receiving your breakthrough. Every time you make the statement to somebody that you have this breakthrough over and they start to get it, they're receiving your breakthrough through your outer authority. That's a moment of deep, deep communion. Oh my God, you get it too. It's like we're almost best friends in that magnetic moment, right? For at least that moment, we're close and it means something. And that has great meaning. And once we've empowered the other, we can empower everyone else. Remember, we transcend together. We don't transcend individually. We transcend a little. We have certain transcensions individually, but fully we transcend in communion and together with the other and others. So don't fear rejection. It's just there to let you know might not be the right timing. Look at rejection like just a little voice on your shoulder. It's like, dude, not now, not yet. Dude, hold on, not just hold on, easy, big fella. That's to look at the fear of rejection like here. It's there to make you so intelligent. It's like, oh, they might not like this. And that's the length of that fear's duration in your life. Rather than, oh my God, I'm such an idiot and I look so stupid. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna return to that over and over again. And I'm gonna, no, it's not meant to do that. It's meant to just come and go. If you need to get back to it, don't worry. It's in a center where its frequency is called over all of time. So you don't have to worry that you're going to forget the nuances of why you might be rejected. What you're going to forget is the nuances that didn't matter. You just, again, if you write these fears down, you'll watch how the next day you can't even put the whole thought together that equaled the fear you had from the day before. Teaching you it doesn't matter as much as you think. It's the mind taking it and trying to pretend it's truth through a not self rather than your authority, which is truth through the true self. So beat these back, man. Right? Beat them back. Fake it till you make it. Say it. Tell yourself this is how it's going, even if you don't believe it at first, because
I
it's
mean,
true.
that's the trick of it. Yeah.
That's part of the trick of it all.
Noticing it. Notice when it gets weird and kind of caught up. Neither she nor Greg have a connection to the throat, meaning that they both have a hard time explaining their insights. And so then she continued, so does this imply we should not try to spend energy to be clear with each other? Is if you're feeling this agitated stuck and you're like, I'm trying to say it and I'm trying to say it and neither is coming through, my first advice is separate aura, like go be like 15-20 feet away for about 15 minutes or so to let that energy settle. Because if you can't explain and he can't explain and you're going back and forth and the energy is just getting more tense and agitated, that's not a good time to try to clarify yourselves because you're both getting stuck and I can't explain myself. So if you separate in any relationship overall, if you have some weird relationships, situation with anybody, like go away for 15 minutes and let that energy settle. And especially if you can be in your own aura, then you can like, okay, what is me? What is the other person? And let that all settle in and be like, oh, okay, this was my thing. This was his thing. Oh, I think I was trying to explain this, but he was trying to explain this. Like you can let all of that settle. And then once you feel at a settled point and you're both are like, I'm ready now, then come back to it to try to clarify with one another.
And and you're so wise to put it that way. And we do need to separate auras because if we get wound up in that energy zone, it's hard to unwind it in real time until you've been in this experiment for a long time. And then you very often can unwind it in real time, but even then, not always. So the whole reason to go and literally separate even for a moment, even if it's just you're looking away, because he turned around to keep doing the dishes and you turned around to keep preparing something. That's fine too. At least try that. But the reason I was saying to no, definitely still talk it out so you can start to find out where your true expressions are. See, basically, we have to go through your throat centers and see what activations there are, and then what activations point towards the throat center for both of you. So, if what I'm hearing is correct, then you guys have an open throat as a partnership chart.
Yeah,
Is that
because
what I'm hearing,
so
Moni?
so of my understanding, because
So
she
together they
said,
don't define a throat.
yeah, so but they have like head ajna business. And so we have a
Okay,
question once we go through the other logical collective thing that I'm going to ask the earlier question. So I think they have head ajna business, but then it doesn't make it to the throat. And then they got like down below body business. So they both got their own head stuff, but they can't necessarily like get it out at the same
right.
time.
That's common. That's absolutely common. Part of it is to also start to recognize that's not a problem, that's a limitation. And then start to recognize transcendence of that comes in recognizing the right timing together. The more you guys know each other's gates, the better off you're going to be as it relates to just availing yourself of that. And then going through this on off pulse of in the same aura, no, separate it a little bit. And in the same aura, and you can do it. All I know is you can do it consciously. You can do it as an aware conversation. So you know why you're doing it rather than storming off into the other room and I'm a little pissy and now the other one doesn't know what the other one's thinking. That's the hardest. By the way, I don't know what they're thinking. I'm now afraid of rejection. My idea is going to die in the darkness. I have futility over the confusion about what might she be thinking. Oh my God, I'm returning. She's thinking this. No, she's thinking that. No, she's thinking this. I'm returning. You see what I'm saying? I just keynoted the 4 ones we've done already, and you'll go through all of them in various forms, if you let them stick around. And tomorrow, when I was like, hey, did it matter what that you couldn't figure out what she was thinking in the 15 minutes that you were away or what he was thinking? And tomorrow, when you go to write and look at that, I'm concerned about what they might be thinking. And then tomorrow, when you look at it, be like, gee, I could care. I don't
And it
care.
wasn't even a thing. They weren't
It's not
thinking
even a
that. And
thing.
yeah. And yeah, this is what I call the I love you, go away moment when like I get stuck with something with my boyfriend or if I get start getting agitated, it's like I love you, go away. Like I can't have you in my energy right now, especially as like a little agitated projector. And he knows that of just like, okay, and he'll separate. And then in that, I could be in my own energy, he could be in his own, and we can like come back to it from a better place of clarity, right? It's like if you feel that stuckness, it's just like, I love you, go away. And then when you're both kind of settled, and then you could have that sense of like, oh, I was trying to say this, he was trying to say this, I was kind of a jerk, but then he kind of this, and you can come back to him and be like, I'm sorry, and then you hug and cry it out, and it's all fine. But the I love you, go away is a good tool
It's
to
so
use.
valuable. I need to back up 1 second. When you do the four, don't go back in slides, but when you do the 47 to 11, the keynote of that is the same with the emotional wave part of the solar plex side of these streams of awareness that are collective, and it is clarity. The emotional solar plex up and down until they've achieved clarity. The abstract process up and down in the abstract wave of oppressive, okay, a little less. It's like a lot, darkness, no darkness. Can I explain? Oh, it's stimulating. Oh, yeah, I'm saying it now. Clarity comes in the explaining of it, in the talking of it. And here, this is a design of individual knowing. And we get to the other side, it'll be a design of understanding, truly understanding and making repeatable, logical, identifiable sense. So
So the little tip is to counter mental anxieties by trusting unique insights without forcing them into palatable explanation. And remember that rejection is just timing, it's not personal failure. It's just you're trying to say something when it's not the right time and they're not going to get it, and then you come off as the freak or you get agitated or I'm such a weirdo. So just don't take it as like a personal moral failing. It's just weird timing.
and by the way, it may be personal by the other. They may think they don't like you and you annoy them. And that's your cue to say, hey, I sort of sense that that's what you're thinking, you little turd. Maybe I shouldn't have you around so much. You got to consider that, because human design is about very much how to make decisions that move the bad energy more to the outskirts or away entirely. Can't move everyone away entirely, sometimes, but you can move them away. And so this is about moving out of the negative energies. So spot it, see that it's not the right timing ever for that person, and then start to move away.
Leah highlighted another quote: rejection is just timing, not personal failure. That's a good
Yes.
one.
God,
Perfect.
thank you, Leah.
So now we're on the opposite side with the collective logical of the Ajna fears, and these are anxieties over the reliability of a pattern.
Mm.
Starting off with gate 4, this is a fear of chaos. This is a deep fear that there's no order, that all is hopeless, and they're determined to come up with an answer.
That determination is rather sustaining. This channel of logic from 63 to 4, the pressure is that of doubt on the 63 side. So it's just doing a doubt, and it's a mental busyness and anxiety mixed with the mental ease. And the formalization of gate 4 that creates a formula has chaos until there's a formula. And that formula is absolutely a logical, conceptual, getting others to see the picture in a way that they can recreate it too. It's from this stream of awareness, from 63 all the way down to 62, that we get the whole pattern of that, which is, oh, that's great. That's a hypothesis. Can two other people recreate the same thing? Okay, now that seems like a fact, right? Because a scientific method demands others can repeat and get the same result, right? That's what's needed here. This is the king of, we're going to make it so you can get the same result if you repeat this formula. And the formula itself is loaded down with details. That's its whole gig. The abstract thing has tons of details, but that's not its gig. Its gig is getting to a story of it all, which contains details. This skips the story part and gets straight to the details. And that's what it's after. It's trying to reach an opinion that is logical enough that can help affect and be shared into the collective to help it get all the lights to change in the right order in your town so people don't get in accidents. That's a logical process. And I've looked at lights in a town, and to me, it's rather complicated. I might have to go to school or get help figuring that out. Might take me a few weeks to look at a whole plan and be like, how does this really work? I might not. It's a complicated. That's a logical process. And the thing about this logical process is it's the only language. When we start to get from the chaos of gate 4 into the clarity here, where it's more about just getting to the details without the story, without as much story, this is the one language, this collective shared social language is the one language that is shared throughout all of humanity, regardless of language or anything else. I mean, technically, there's one other language deeply, and it is a tribal supportive love language that is shared. So there is universal love language that absolutely can be shared anywhere on this planet. But as it relates to stuff we're going to speak about and say a lot of words and write some books about, this stuff translates through all languages at all times. The abstract idea might not, but this stuff will, because making the streetlights work here is going to be the exact same thing as some form of making them work in Italy or in Russia, right? It's seriously, and making schools be reliable and making automobiles work and industry processes, and think of the abstract music making, but it's still a logical process. I've got to remember all these notes. I've got to identify with it and repeat it and make it logical so I can translate this beauty of abstractness to the rest of the world. I need to share it, but I got to logically know it. So all of it is a thing, and we share this information, and it starts with the pressure to doubt. Doubt is such a valuable, maybe, doubt is good. If we just say, oh yeah, oh, I believe that too. Oh, I believe that too. Oh, we're going to get taken for a ride. We're going to not pass go, man. We got no get out of jail free cards with that. And so it's just no good. We have to doubt. It's like, maybe this is part of the home of maybe, along with the individual pulse that says maybe. It's all the maybe of it all. And the fear of chaos is a true and pronounceable, and you can just see it, because as soon as too many of those possible details, which we're going to get to in gate 62 soon enough, everything in the stream is aware. I got to get to the details. I got to get to the details in gate 62. This is aware of it. And the chaos comes in. Oh my God, this doesn't fit the details. This doesn't fit the pattern fully. I can't make a lot. Oh no, it's not going to work. It's a logical recognition of this isn't working. Chaos in the system. We put diesel fuel in the gasoline engine. Oh no. Oh
Uh-oh.
no. Oh
Oops.
no. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't know personally how to fix that. This is chaos. Do we have some reliable patterns? Oh, yes, there's a gas station down the road. There's a experienced mechanic there. Can we push the car there? Are we with the family on vacation? Do we have enough traveler's checks? That's not how people roll today. I get it, but you get what I'm saying. God, did I date myself with that one?
It works though. It works with the analogy to give the story.
Right. And so the chaos, and the thing is, we see the chaos coming. We can recognize it because it's looking into the future with all kinds of possible details that are going to flesh it out. It's not like the abstract chaoticness, which is just futility. It's like, I don't even know where to start. This one is like, oh my God, I have no choice but to figure this out. I have some ideas of where to start. You have no ideas where to start on the abstract process per se. You're just stuck there in futility land. I'm treading water in the middle of the ocean. I hope someone finds me.
Because of the
Here,
abstract, you're confused until it's after done.
64 is before completion.
This one is the
After
the
completion,
yeah, but it's the doubt until after. Or
until
it's
after,
yeah,
right.
it's the doubting until after.
Basically, it's a doubt until after the confusion.
Mm.
As a total holistic head-centered Ajna process of pressure to concepts. Well, that explains it all right there. Literally, it's a holistic process, but the doubt that is called after completion, that pressurizes it pressurizes it to a point where it can suddenly have a fear of chaos. And that fear of chaos is there to be, is it really fully chaotic? Well, if you're in the middle of that thing I just described, it's probably chaotic. But guess what? You're going to make it. You've got all this beautiful process going on. You're a logical creature. It's a language we all speak. You're going to find the details and you're going to get there. You just got to stay at it, obviously. But that's the type of chaos it's looking for. It's too much. What do you mean yellow? I just finished all the lights. I got red and green. Oh, dude,
We should throw
dude,
in a
dude.
yellow.
No, not throwing. It's required by law. No, it's mandatory. You got to rip the whole thing out. We need. You got only green yellows with no. Did you leave a space open can where we could put yellow in? No, it's all coming out. Yellow. Oh, now that's chaos. But it still solves itself with an identifiable pattern. That's why it's the common language to all of humanity. It's like, no, we're gonna get to work in this beautiful factory up here, which is the beautiful toy box part, is gonna figure that out. It might take a year and a half. We're gonna get there. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna get our astronauts home. We're gonna whatever. That's the chaos this is meant to deal with. So put it in that perspective. Is it a missing yellow light within the whole town's lighting grid? Or is it just a little chaos in your life right now? So if it doesn't rise to the occasion of, dude, you forgot the yellow. If it doesn't rise to that occasion, the chaos, let it flow through. Let it flow through. It's not there to keep you entrenched in goo and mess.
That makes sense. I have a really good friend who has this as her personality sun. Gate 4 is her personality sun. And she could have so many possibilities coming in. It's an undefined head ajna. And she can always have a possibility of this. It could be possibly this. It could be possibly this. It could possibly this. And if there's so many possibilities and it's like you don't know which is the possibility, of course that would turn into chaos. Because like maybe this, maybe this, maybe this, maybe this, maybe this, maybe this. And I've seen
Right.
that like rile her up into a tizzy, but it makes sense because if you have too many possibilities, you don't know what is the right possibility, what is the order to it. So that makes sense that there's
Order.
chaos. It's
This
all
is
hopeless.
this is the place of order to chaos to order. And by the way, once there is order, the laws of nature and the universe point out soon there will be disorder again. It's like an emotional wave. We have no choice in all of that. And gate 4 is there to create that order and put it in place. Yeah. And by the way, I just realized, so four's opposition, I believe, is 49
4 and
principles.
49.
And then this would create the cross of explanation, the right angle cross of explanation. And so it's about explaining stuff. And it's there in the resolution to the chaos. So if you end up can't really like explain stuff to somebody out of this, it just needs more work. It's not that you need to fear the chaoticness of that. It's a mental process. It'll work itself out in gate 17 anyways, whether you have it or not.
Gate 17 is a fear that your opinions will be challenged and afraid that you'll be lacking the details and that you're not understood. You must wait for all details before you can verify this opinion. And an opinion without details will be and needs to be challenged.
It needs to be. It's a logical process. We've talked a lot about science recently, like all throughout news and just general in our world, I'd say in the past 4 or 5 years, follow the science and trust the science and stuff. No, yes, but also no. Kick those tires again. Keep proving it, please. You know what I'm saying? Prove it still. It's 10 years later. Has anything changed as it relates to the science? These are reasonable things until it gets entrenched into the not self. No, that's the science. The science is now settled, on something. And it
It's like the
never
science is
fully.
never settled. Like the method of science is that you're constantly asking the question of you're doubting. Doubt is the foundation of the scientific method. So the 63 is the doubt that goes to the 4, which is the possibility. Maybe it's this, maybe it's this, maybe it's this. And then the 17 is like, I'm going to come up with a hypothesis. And then it goes to gate 62 that's like, I'm going to test the hypothesis with all the details.
With all the details, and that testing comes out first. And the very first test you make of a hypothesis is to pick the words to put to it and explain it to someone else. That's the very first step of that. After you come up with it in your own self, is to choose the language. And 62 is there to metamorphosize this mentally noisy slash visual process, the process of the right eye, really focusing in on the details of this particular thing, and get to that, the taming of all of those details, and the preponderance of the small is what gate 62 is called, and it puts those details in an ordered framework at some point. But the bottom line, this gate's fear is because all that stuff is tenable. It's tenuous, I mean. It doesn't know. Yeah, I gotta think, but I haven't said it yet. And opinions are dicey. Well, that's your opinion. I don't want
Everyone,
to run into that. That's your
uh,
opinion. Telling a story is the worst you can really get is, I mean, that's not really my story. That story maybe might not fully apply. You got to use a lot of words to say something down about the story.
yeah, you're like,
When
oh,
it comes to
that's
this gate of
interesting. Good luck
opinion,
on that.
yeah, right. But when it comes to the opinion, you can just say, that's not my opinion. Opinions sound forceful. They sound like you're trying to get me to sway me to your opinion. Well, I'm Catholic. Well, I'm Protestant. Oh, yeah. Sure, 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 sure. You know what I mean? That's not going to travel far. Tell a story about it and it will.
Hmm.
And so gate 17 knows there's a slight starving for the energy to travel, because the abstract side, when it does finally get out, 56 has far more potential to travel far and wide and totally universalize. The sharing wants to get to the fifth line universalizing at the end of the day. It all wants to get there. I want to universalize this. Where? To everyone at all times. That's what it would like. Think about it. If you have a pressure that is a genetic construct in your body that humanity has in its Maya that guarantees we have doubt as part of our process, how can anyone ever get behind any kind of slogan that says the science is settled when we ourselves are not settled in it because we
And
have
it
doubt?
can't be.
It can't be, right?
It's
It's not logical,
anyone who says the science is settled is saying something very anti-scientific. Like the whole
period.
purpose of science is you keep testing and you keep testing and you keep testing and you
It's
keep testing it. Like it's the
It's
whole
nice
point.
that it reaches a relative resting point where the chaos is low. The chaos is there as a fear to measure in gate 4, to measure how much chaos. There's always a little bit. There's always a little entropy inside the system. And 17 is there to say, hey, good resting point, good enough. The lights work. You put the yellow back in. Here's how this is going to work. Let's sell it to the town. It's there to finesse the rest of it into a reliable opinion that creates a reliable pattern that can be spoken reliably with enough detail to make its impact and be heard. So that's what gate 17 is doing. Its fear of challenge is deep. It's deep because one simple challenge can disorganize the whole thing and suddenly it can't speak anymore. It's a projected channel and it's about your opinion. And if there's one thing anyone can do is they can say, that's not my opinion. And it's like telling someone they're, whatever, this or that, it shuts down conversation. It shuts down things. It's such a logical fear. The fear of challenge is the alma mater and the motto of the true and correct scientist. How can I make sure I've gotten through and gotten to all the pertinent details such that my fear of challenge is simply like, let them challenge. I'm pretty strong on this. I've got the formula. The doubt factory isn't killing me today because it's just, I think I've gotten rid of most of the doubts. So you get rid of most of the doubts and you get rid of most of the formula particulars to turn it into a formula. 17 comes along and says, let me organize this into a thesis. It's a wicked logical process. By the way, if you're afraid of challenge, just like it said before, then basically you haven't done enough with it and it deserves challenge. What are we supposed to do with this fear? Write it down. Find a way to find out how much it didn't matter an hour later. Please, because this fear of challenge inside of you and this fear that someone's going to say something, the fear that there's, oh yeah, coming at you, and the fear that you might sound stupid or it's in an open center and you know you're not necessarily certain, so is the timing right? You let your strategy and authority tell you the right timing. And if the other isn't listening, you can stop now. They don't deserve it at that time. They're not listening. And that's okay. And so you can't share it. Hungry to share. This one's easy. This one's, I'm thinking this one gets bitter and hungry when it can't share. And the 11 might have some of that, but even as a projected channel, it's still more just going to railroad and tell its story a little bit and maybe shorten it up if no one's listening. But it's still going to get some of it out. But this one can get stopped at the gate. Yeah, because your opinion about something isn't very sexy, but the nice story you're telling is that's stimulating me right now is same stuff.
Lesson for collective logical Ajna fears is to combat these anxieties, gather the full details before forming those opinions. Rushing invites chaos and challenge, whereas patient verification creates reliable answers for the collective. So, again, this is the scientific method. So, have those doubts, gather the details, present a hypothesis. You don't have to get yourself personally so tied to this opinion that you need to prove. It's a hypothesis. You're here to test it. Don't get that attached. And rushing causes trouble. So just take it slow. Be a good scientist.
Yeah, and so very much recognize that this process that's supposed to unfold at the end of the day, it does need to be recognized by the other, or you can't share it. So you can use this process really quick to realize if you're in the right place sharing it. It would almost be like one of those speed dating circles where you go around, you talk to someone for 5 minutes, then you move to the next one, find out where it'd be like that. Oh, you're not listening? Go to the next crowd of people. Oh, you're not listening? Go to my next friend. Oh, you're not listening. As soon as they don't want to hear it, get off the call and call your next friend or whoever. Call
Mm-hmm.
your mom. She'll usually listen, ish, you
Ish.
know, ish. Just
Perfect.
someone will. And so that's what this is. The only thing I want to say that to finish all of this beauty is where is this arrow pointing from the 4 to the 7. Notice now the mixing is the other way. I would like you to notice that this individual definition, the 24 down to 43, this flow, cuts right through the center of this vortex. It cuts right through the center. It's as if the abstract, which I'm always saying, it's if the abstract and the logical processes are here serving this individual, making a rationale out of it to come to the final breakthrough. The final breakthrough is what's going to mutate and create the new thing we need to make a reliable pattern about, and the new thing we need to tell stories about to find out what does it really mean and get clear on. The vortex in the ajna is a potent place. Why it's so confusing. And screw the challenge. You don't care. You
You ready
don't
for
you
a
don't
question?
care. Yeah. Let the challenge flow through just like every other fear.
Finally, I have our fear quote from Uru Hu, the founder developer of the human design system. So, no human being is free from fears. Fear is a part of our human process. To understand fear through human design, to understand the gates of fear in your chart, will give you incredible insight into your life. It will give you a deep relief that there's nothing wrong with you. Fear is to be recognized and understood. By entering into things correctly through living out the strategy of your type, fears can cease to be something that are perceived as problematic or debilitating. They can be seen for what they are, mechanics of the human way and a byproduct of awareness and its potentials.
Right. The byproduct of our constant pressure to get more intelligent, that's what this is. And Ra always said things with such sort of, insightful poetry and textbook fashion too. He was a teacher. And so this really sums it all up, in my opinion. These fears of the ajna bring great anxiety to the people until they start seeing it. And once you see it, that anxiety, you get to start killing it. Kill the anxiety by witnessing your mechanics and understanding if that's part of your mechanics and you have one of these gates, then you have to let this flow through and you got to get into the experiment just as I have been detailing to you. I think we
Yep.
killed it, Moni.
I think we did pretty great. Yeah, so we've gone through the spleen and the ajna. Next week we will do the solar plexus.
And remember, everyone, like and subscribe, right? Tell other people, share it around, post it on TikTok or something. Say, hey, we found these two crazy people. What are they saying? Does anyone know? Do that. Yeah, yeah. Does anyone know what this is? And watch 100 people be like, oh, yeah, that's this and this and this. And
It's some
so,
neat stuff.
yep. Actually, that's
Yeah.
a good one. Does anyone know anything about this? That's my
Yeah, get
44 getting tricky.
oh my gosh. So yeah, so thanks for liking, subscribing, doing all the stuff, asking questions. Here we have our coffee link if you want to donate, and there's a QR code if you want to do that. We really appreciate it.